All right, what's going on, everybody? You know me, I'm Sam Stillwell, and this is the Walk On Coach. Today I have a special guest. His name is Tim Reiman. He plays at the University of Illinois, and he is a sophomore. And I'll hand it over to Tip from there. And can you tell the audience about yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Yep, like you said, I'm a sophomore here. I play tight end. I came in, I'm from small town, South Dakota, not highly recruited. I'm sure a lot of guys who are going to watch this are from similar places where they're not highly recruited or they are from places and they're just looked over. So I get you. But yep, I came in 2020, played a lot of special teams, was a walk-on. Luckily enough, got the preferred walk-on spot here and just grinded my way into earning a scholarship in my second year. And I'm playing a lot of tight end now, and so less special teams, kind of working toward that starting spot, and just living life, man, loving it for sure.
And by the way, Tip is in the middle of spring ball, so he dedicated some time to this interview, and I appreciate it, and I know y'all appreciate it too. I guess we start at the beginning. You got a preferred walk-on spot. So
Yeah.
How did you get to that point? Like, did that start in high school?
Yeah, so I know a lot of guys typically get help from their high school coaches and whatnot for recruiting and things like that. But I think South Dakota is really untapped, and I think recruiting is pretty foreign to South Dakota in general. So a lot of coaches don't even know about recruiting, to be honest with you. And so I did all my own things. I reached out to as many people as I could, thousands and thousands of Twitter messages. Like, I got Twitter because I figured out, that's where recruiting happens, So got Twitter in like 2019. And reached out to everybody and anybody that I could, that I thought, okay, I'm going to send them all my athleticism videos, anything and everything I can, all my lifts, every sprint, every backflip, everything, so every measurable. And I was just reaching out to everybody I possibly could. Luckily, I sparked an eye here. Sparked an eye with a couple of guys here, a position coach and offensive coordinator from not last staff, but 2 staffs ago, back in the COVID year, 2020. And so I got a foot in the door, got an opportunity to come in and just kind of earn my stripes. And I did so. So I was lucky enough to have that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Okay. So first thing you said was you emailed or contacted did you say 1,000? What was that number?
Probably thousands. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Every position coach from every school that I could think of.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what in your messages do you think really, or what were the key parts of your message that you were sending out?
Well, something big that I knew would bode well for me is, number one, how do you speak and how do you write your message? Because if it's grammatically, like simple things, grammatically correct, how do you lay stuff out? Is it easy to see? Like simple things that a coach with not a lot of time, if they glance at your stuff and they see some great numbers and what sounds like a genuine person, then I feel like they'll give you the time of day. You know what I mean? Or maybe not, but you have more of a chance. You know what I mean?
Right.
So those are things that I included, but I also included all my measurables, anything about me that stood out that some people don't have, in their measurables or in their repertoire for skill sets. And so something about me is I'm a big guy. I could do backflips. I can jump around, do all that stuff. So I would send like dunking videos, or I'd tweet dunking videos and backflips and like all these different things. And I think it caught people's eyes because not as many bigger dudes could do things like that. I would definitely send all my lifting stuff, my maxes to coaches, like verticals, 40s, everything. So really anything that would make them want to choose me for any reason,
Mm-hmm.
putting it out there, you know?
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So I guess what I'm hearing is you kind of sent a message, and you also had the Twitter profile
Hmm.
with all your things on there, like the dunking, the highlights, and things like that to back it up.
For sure.
Now, did you say you were also like direct messaging those videos to them?
Yeah. That would usually be if they gave me any in with them, if
Uh,
if that makes sense. If they kind of cracked the door open, I'd be like, hey, you know, promise I'm athletic, like check this out, you know? So I'd send something to them, and I'd send them even like live videos of me just going into the hallway in my pajamas and doing a backflip quick at like 10 at night or something. You know what I mean? Just anything real quick. And I'd just kind of help them understand that they're not gonna get catfished, if you will.
mhm.
So
Wow. Okay.
yeah,
Showing them a
but
little
I
bit of
definitely was
personality.
tagging people in the tweets that I would just post. I was
Mhm.
tagging anybody who seemed interested in me as well from different schools, just all the time. So
Okay,
yeah,
man, and that small segment we just talked about, I think that's powerful
yeah,
when
yeah,
somebody
for sure.
started off, because a lot of people don't understand the mass and the amount of people they need to be sending stuff to.
Yeah,
And then you talk
yeah.
about Twitter, which is a great place. Like a lot of coaches are on Twitter,
Oh, for sure.
so that's key. So so you did that in the U of I bit.
Hmm.
So what was their reply like, and then how did you kind of build that relationship from there?
You know, the reply was pretty vague, just like everyone's was.
Mhm.
Um, but I could tell I got maybe on their boards. Even if I was low on their boards, I was on the board. And so not getting discouraged with that and just continuing genuine communication with them, really building relationships with them, not just like, not really just asking them about, okay, how can I do this? How can I do this? How can I do this? Kind of seeming like, you know, that's greed talking. How do I build a relationship with somebody? And maybe I don't end up going there, but what about what can I get out of that relationship? How can I grow through that communication with that person, you know, as a
Mhm.
human being, as a football player, everything. So I think stepping back and looking at stuff from a bigger picture too is helpful, because that can show a different side of you, um, that is appealing to coaches, where they're like, okay, he's going to be a good teammate too. He's not just going to be, you know, a me guy. He's going to be a relationship guy with his teammates, with the coaching staff, everybody. So I think that's a big part of it as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you start to build that relationship,
Hmm.
did they automatically tell you, okay, we got a preferred walk-on spot for you? Did you still have to try
No.
out?
So I actually started talking to U of I. They were one of the first, actually, which is surprising because it was a bigger school, right?
Hmm.
They were one of the first to just continue to talk to me regularly, you know, maybe once every couple months. Not super regular, but like it was at least consistent enough to know that, all right, they don't not like me per se, you
Hmm.
know. So I took my first unofficial visit here. I asked if I could take a visit, um, and they were all for it, and so that let me know that they were interested. But it wasn't all sunshine and roses. It wasn't like they were just all over me, for sure. Like I
Hmm.
had to continually prove to them. One of the coaches, he was talking to me about how he wanted to know if I really loved football, if I really loved this, before they took a chance on me with a walk-on spot. And it's interesting because I didn't think of it at the time. You think of walk-on spots like, all right, you've got a walk-on spot, man. Just let me, let me in, right?
Hmm.
But they want people on their team who are going to make the entire program better, no matter if you're scholarship or walk-on. So they want to know that like you live for this stuff, and this is a big part of what you're meant to do here on earth, you know? So just kind of enlightening them in a way with my passion for this sport was a big thing, actually, which I didn't think would be a big ask, because I feel like it should be known, you know, if you're working this hard to get a walk-on spot and get to campus, just do something, you know. But it was a question mark, and I think for a lot of coaches, and it goes unsaid to the athletes, and so they don't know that they need to prove that to them, that we love this stuff, you know. So that's a big thing too. But I'd say U of I, when we were in consistent conversation, I typically was with the OC. I typically talked to the OC when I was being recruited here. And it was genuine conversations most of the time. Honestly, it wasn't all about football. A lot of the times they would obviously, there's recruiting tactics, talk about your family and everything, where they just want to make sure that you feel like you're cared for and stuff like that. So then you feel comfortable if they do choose you to come here. But there was also, it was a two-way street. It wasn't just all the questions, me talking about myself. You know, I feel like I did a good job making a relationship, and I still talk to the OC to this day. He's a great guy, and I developed a good bond with him. And he was at Virginia and then now Penn State, and so even still, good relationship with him and everybody that recruited me. So I think relationships are the biggest part, and that held true for me. And it might be different with different coaches, because some people just don't have that personality trait. But I'd say for the most part, that just that big time communication factors is really important. And so just staying consistent with it, you know, because I wouldn't have gotten here if I had just kind of, all right, I developed a relationship and I just let it kind of slide, but you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's beautifully said, because building relationships is, for football and for all other goals that anybody has, it's about building relationships. Any business is about building relationships. And what you said, what you did was, you know, it was a two-way street.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, you weren't talking about yourself the whole time, because people love to talk about themselves.
Yeah.
You got to give the coach a chance to talk about themselves too.
Yeah.
And actually be genuinely interested to build that relationship. So that's beautiful. Now, you said it was an offensive coordinator that you were talking to. Do you know if the offensive coordinator is the walk-on coach on the team, or walk-ons? Real quick, if you are attempting to get a walk-on tryout, it can be a headache. Trust me, I've been through the whole runaround. However, I have created a playbook on how to get a walk-on tryout. So if that is your goal, to get a walk-on tryout, visit the link in the description to purchase your playbook now. How does that work?
You know, we didn't have a walk-on coach on the team, which is interesting. I haven't had one in the last, I guess this is my third staff since I've been here. So I haven't had one in all three staffs. But each position coach is, I mean, as they recruit, they just kind of classify their scholarship guys and their walk-on guys depending, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So once you built that relationship, did you end up still having a tryout?
I didn't have to try out.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't try out. They felt, based off of my film and measurables and things like that, I was all right to be a preferred walk-on, which was pretty cool. But I was willing and ready. I was ready. You say the word, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be doing any drill you want, you know, like anything and everything. So
right. So they said basically all they needed to see was that backflip, and you're good.
Yeah. No.
Backflips and dunks.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I had the same situation where I really didn't have to do a official tryout. So
yeah, because I know a couple, like the teammate that you've interviewed before
Mhm.
he had to try on, and
Yeah.
I actually both of my teammates that you've interviewed before both had to try out so to get on the team. So yeah, it was
Right.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah it was
and by
pretty
the
nice not
way,
to.
just for the audience, those two interviews, that's the one with Taylon Litzy,
Yep.
awesome interview, and the other one is Jaden Jones Watkins. So if you haven't
Mhm.
seen that, go check that out too after you finish listening to Tip.
Yeah, great guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome, and
yeah.
y'all, all three of y'all are similar. Great interviewers. I mean, just
I
giving
appreciate
all
it.
the facts. So, um,
I feel like it's an untapped industry, or not even really industry, just untapped market of knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, not a lot of people know how to even get their foot in the door. So it's good to get some experience and let people know.
yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a trial.
Yeah.
So you got on the team and you were a true freshman.
Mhm.
And, we talked a little bit. So can you let the audience know how that process was from, day one to when you got your opportunity at the end of the season?
Yeah. Yeah, I can. So I came in and I'm a tight end, and I came in and I was 217 pounds, just super light, undersized, like can fly, but like not strong. You know what I mean? Not strong enough, not growing into my own body enough, like a baby deer. You know what I mean? Just like
Or
getting thrown around everywhere. So super green, super green. And it was tough for me because, I mean, patience doesn't come well to human beings, just doesn't. And that was something that I really was forced to do, is just be patient. And I think I wouldn't be in the spot I am today if I didn't dedicate so much work ethic every single day, like not skipping a single day of pouring my entire being out into this sport and everything that comes with it. I wouldn't be anywhere near that today if I had any sort of slacker mentality of any kind.
Mhm.
Because typically walk-ons are already like physically not what the program wants you to be as a
Right.
scholarship player.
Mhm.
So you got to work even harder. And that's kind of tough because coming in the door, you're not as good as everybody else. Usually you're just not. But the cool thing is, like, the majority of people have an upside to them. So their ceiling is so high, like their upside is so high. And I think that people get discouraged a lot before they even come close to their ceiling. So
Mhm.
I just kept thinking about how I need to do this. This is something I have to do. Um, Almost as if like this is how I need this is what I need to do, and how I'm going to do it is as if I'm trying to feed my children, like the children that I don't have right now. You know what I mean? Like that mindset where it's a need to and a get to thing. And so starting day one, poured everything I had into every single rep.
Mhm.
Never, even to this day, like I pride myself on being like the hardest worker that you'll meet. I
Mhm.
won't let somebody outwork me. It's just not going to happen. Um, and I think that leads to a lot of mental strengthening as well, in
Mhm.
the same sense. Um, and that has nothing but upside on the back end. Like, it just teaches you take yourself through the hardest of moments throughout football, especially like college football is one of the most mentally taxing things, especially if you're already at kind of a deficit as a walk-on. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Absolutely.
So coming in and you're just earning your stripes. For me, like I said, I was really green. I was working my butt off, doing everything right that I possibly could. And eventually I got to a point where I started seeing some serious growth, not just physically, but mentally and in the knowledge of the game. I think a lot of extra meetings with coaches and a lot of extra workouts really helped me out in that way. Because I hit the field for my spring ball after my first season, which in the first season, I can't remember if we've talked about it while we've been recording or not, but I was a special teams guy. I was on all 6 special teams, and it was my duty to just prove myself. If I can prove myself with a little, it says it in the Bible, if you can prove yourself with a little, you can be trusted with a lot more. Like, it's the same principle, right? So I took that as, I took a lot of pride in special teams. I took a lot of pride in showing people they can trust me with this little thing on 4th down, and they can trust me with everything 1st, 2nd, 3rd, eventually too.
Right.
So that's a big thing that I was doing freshman year. That and creating a culture for myself, and cultivating that motivated spirit in guys around me as well. Because you see somebody going hard like every single rep for the entire time you've known them, it makes you want to go harder yourself, right? Like, it just does. You just want to be better for them too. So I feel like leading by example in that way is a big thing. And I started leading as a freshman, coming in just the way I worked and put my head down, no complaints, just did what was asked of me and more. So that's not to say I was perfect on special teams or anything like that, but like definitely every single effort was there when it needed to be, for sure. So
that's awesome
that was pretty much my freshman year. What'd you say? Sorry.
No, I was saying that's awesome that you were on special teams your freshman year, because typically that is the matriculation. Like, you walk on, you find a way on special teams, and then that's when you can get on that offensive defense, because like you said, they build trust in you.
For sure.
And I think all around, the trust is built all around, even with academics. If they see you're doing well academically,
you're right,
they just notice that you're a high performer and a consistent person, period. So they're like, when I need somebody, that's who I'm calling. So
you're right. Yeah.
So you got an opportunity at the end of your freshman season. On offense.
So wasn't very pretty, but I got especially compared to now, hopefully no, but end of 2020 year, my true freshman year, I got in against Northwestern and Penn State at tight end for a little bit. I didn't know the playbook. I was on scout team. I tried to be scout team All-American every single week and special teams All-American. You know what I mean? So we didn't get the luxury of knowing the playbook that we were running that year. So my guys, luckily it was COVID year, you could just yell and there's no one in the stands or anything to disrupt the noise or anything like that. So my position group on the sideline would actually yell in what responsibility I had during the game to me on the field, because I had no clue what was going on. Like, I was a scout team, special teams guy, and that was it. And so looking back, I wish I would have met more a couple of times a week with the offensive coaches and gotten back up to speed on the offense. But my role was truly in special teams. So I had all my extra meetings were with the special teams coordinator, all of them. So, tons of extra meetings with him. But it all paid off. It was good. It was a good experience. I looked like a goofy dude out there for a little bit, but it was a good experience. And, we played hard.
Man, I wish I would have been there, man. That's like, that the All-American special teams guy, and they just threw him to the wolves.
Yep.
Everybody is kind of hyped because they know how hard you work, and everybody rooting for you. So Yeah, I know that was a funny, beautiful moment right there.
Yeah, exactly. Both those things. Both those things. Yeah.
Right. So from there, so you had your opportunity on offense. Now
Yeah.
you know are going through summer and or
Mhm.
spring first, spring ball
Yeah.
then summer, and then when did you get the scholarship?
Yeah. So went through spring, had a pretty good spring. Nothing compared to how it is this year, but tons of growth,
Mhm.
and a lot of mental growth as well. You know, learning how to not have that really bad anxiety on you all the time, that performance anxiety, and just knowing like no matter what, like my worth is so much more than just what we see on film. Like
Mhm.
my worth as a human being doesn't change, no matter what. And so learning that, a big step forward was last spring when I started to realize that I've struggled with that big time. And so last spring I started to work on that, on myself, my heart and my mind mentally with
Mhm.
that stuff, because that was a big controller for me, because I get so down on one little thing that is just snowballed, turned a snowball
Right.
to an avalanche, as they say. But we've been working on that and taking many steps forward mentally and just as a person, as well. And so we went through spring ball, had a good spring ball, great summer, got much more like a Big Ten tight end, physically over the summer. And then I kind of started to hit a little stride, played a lot more last season. Um, I started 3 games last season, but I think what was Virginia, the third game, something like that. Uh, I think it was September 6th is when I got put on scholarship. It was a Thursday before we played Virginia in 2021. And so I ended up getting on scholarship then, which this is actually kind of a funny story. I came in with Lovie Smith as the head coach.
Mhm.
He got fired in January or
Mm.
December
Yeah.
of 2020. And so we got a new coach, Coach Bielema, that just, I don't know, not long after when we were playing Penn State. I think we had the day we played Penn State of 2020, we figured out as Coach B. So anyways,
Okay.
we came in, I had my first spring under Coach B. He felt like I embodied the tough, smart, dependable mantra that he preaches every single day. We just had a team meeting earlier today about it.
Mhm.
Same thing: tough, smart, dependable. Um, those 3 things were big in my mind even before we got here.
Mhm.
You can use all sorts of words to describe somebody like that, but it's somebody you can call on, like we talked about, someone you can call on that takes care of business. That's where they need to be when they need to be there. I felt like I embodied that, and I just kept doing my thing, kept having a good spring, worked my butt off all summer. And
Mhm.
then he felt that I was a scholarship caliber tight end by that time, and there were scholarships open at that time. So he tried to trick us, make us think we're in trouble. Some of me and some of the guys he put on at the same time, but he's just putting us on a scholarship. So it was kind of
Oh
funny
man.
in that moment up in the team room. But no, it was good. It was really good. So
Okay.
it was fun. And then I felt like a lot of guys might get a scholarship and feel like I did it. I achieved my goal. But to me, nothing changed, and it just made me want to grind harder,
Mhm.
because it was like, okay, I got that, but it's not everything that I've ever wanted. You know what I mean? It's not what I
Right.
haven't fulfilled my purpose here, and job's not done, job's not finished. You know,
Mhm.
it's just I feel like it's a good indicator that I'm trending in the right direction.
Mhm.
That I'm on the right
Absolutely.
track, because ultimately there's so much more to do, there's so much more to complete, and this is a really good milestone,
Mhm.
but we're definitely not done yet. That's kind of how it was in my mind, at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that sounds like the perfect mindset to have.
Yeah.
So you said that you gained weight over the spring. We have a lot of walk-ons that ask about gaining weight. I've done some videos on gaining weight.
Yeah.
So how did you gain weight and how much did you gain?
So I came in at 217. I'm at 265 right now. So I gained almost 50 pounds. And I've stayed at a relatively similar body fat percentage. So I haven't put on hardly any fat, which it's good. And to an extent, you need fat, especially as a tight end. It protects you.
Mm-hmm.
But you definitely have to be big, especially in the Big Ten. So I knew that coming in. I was like, I know I'm undersized, but my tight ends coach at the time, he was like, come in feeling good. We'll get you big. Just come in feeling good. Routes, everything running, feeling good. And so I did. And I came in. I was flying, still flying. We won't let that go under the rug. I'm still flying. Fastest 265 guy out there. No, but I came in, I was just feeling good, and then got a little bit bigger with the first strength staff. Not as much as I would have hoped, but I was in really good shape.
Mm-hmm.
I got up to maybe 234, something like that for the first season. It wasn't the best weight though. I had put on more fat than I would have liked for sure. Once the next strength staff came in January, we got everybody's bodies really transformed immensely, like a lot. I went from, I think in January I was 232, and then we started our cycle, and by spring ball I was 245, I believe. It was 245, something like that. 245 or 250. I can't remember. Might have been 250. Anyways, no, it was 245. And then over spring ball, I kind of lost some muscle mass and whatnot, and ended up around 250 by the end of the summer. Kind of stayed there throughout the fall and that season. Then this off season's been a big gaining season. And so something that sucked freshman year that was really hard was being patient for my body to catch up to what I was giving it. So a lot of people will be like, for the last 3 weeks, I've been eating like 6,000 calories a day. Why am I not gaining weight? And I'm like, it's a lot of calories, obviously, number one. So you're taking in enough calories, but also your body just needs to catch up sometimes to the amount of food that you're giving it, to the amount of fuel that you're giving it. Something for me that I think I've seen in a lot of teammates, and I've helped them kind of, go and talk to Jade, our nutritionist, but go and talk to our nutritionist about, and I just kind of advise them on is like the consistency of meals. So a lot of people will be like, well, I'm getting 3 meals a day and a snack. Like what else do I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're trying to gain weight and you're not gaining weight, and that's your regimen right now, it's not enough, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
When I was really, really trying to gain weight, I was waking up at like 5 a.m. having a gainer shake before weigh-ins and stuff like that. We had a bunch of punishments for that stuff. That's the only reason why I was doing that. Anyways, when this staff came in, there was a lot more education based around gaining weight and healthy weight too at that. And something that helped me was, like I said, meal frequency and emphasizing how much you need to hydrate in a day and what you need to take in. So basically I can run you through my weight gain regimen that worked for me. And I have super high metabolism. Like, it was so hard for me to gain weight. I would eat 6,000 calories in a day and then lose weight, and I'd be 2 pounds lighter the next day. Like, so I get where a lot of people are going to come from watching this video. Like, I get it. I've been there. So number one is consistency year round. You just have to keep going every single day. You're not going to see things for a while. Sometimes, like, maybe you'll see a big jump and then you won't see anything for a while, but you should see consistent growth after after you've been consistent with your meals and with everything. So in a day, I'll typically have a pre-workout shake, and then my breakfast, and then some carbs that are a sustained release carb. So it's just slower releasing. So I'm not hungry as fast, and I don't get tired as easy. That's typically what I'll do before training or practice, and then we'll train or practice. And then I'll get, I do a lot of studies. I do a lot of research about different studies and stuff. So I read this one study that was like the elite athlete can actually take in like 100 to 200 grams of protein in this 30-minute anabolic window after a workout. So I typically take in, that's a lot of protein. That's like way more than an average Joe has in a day. Mm-hmm. So got to be careful with it. You got to make sure that you're actually having a high intensity workout and you're doing it, you're taking in protein right away. But we have Core Power 42 gram proteins. And so I'll grab 2 of those, and then we have a gainer shake if you're on the gain train. If you're on the gain train and you need to gain weight, then we have those that they make for us. So I'd have all of that, about 100 grams of protein. The key is not to just have that at random times of the day. You got to have it right after your workout. Your body's at a really moving at a fast pace. Its metabolism is going. It's ready to take in anything you can give it. So if you give it a ton of protein, it's gonna create a ton of muscle. You know what I mean? It's just gonna use that for the synthesis of muscle. And so I do that, and then I'll hit the tubs, shower, go over to what we call varsity. It's basically the athlete dining hall, and I'll make sure I've got a lot of carbs on there. I love carbs, love them. It's awesome. Make sure I get a lot of carbs on there. I should be eating more vegetables. So if you like vegetables, make sure you get those on there. But lots of carbs. I've talked to my nutritionist about everything I eat. And so carbs are big, especially for gaining weight. Lots of carbs, tons of protein, and then lots of hydration, like not just water, and also not just Gatorade. So things with electrolytes in them, there's things called trace minerals that are good at replacing the stuff that you sweat out. Things that are high in, that have a lot of salt on them, or if you just add salt to different things, it helps your water retention. It helps your body retain water more. And then another thing would be creatine. Creatine is great because of the benefits as far as strength and explosiveness and different things as far as growing your muscle. Mm-hmm. If you're not good at hydrating and you're not consistent at hydrating, I wouldn't recommend it to people watching this video, because like if you don't hydrate well, you're gonna tear something or pull something. It's just gonna happen. Creatine will dry you out, but you can also, creatine, water molecules bind to it. So if you don't have enough water, something bad's going to happen. But if you have a lot of water in you and you're consistent with hydration, you can actually add some water weight to your body as well without feeling bogged down. So creatine is good as well for gaining weight, and just putting on muscle mass at a higher rate for sure. And then I'll go do class after that lunch or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I make sure, my schedule varies per day, but I make sure every two max 3 hours. Like if I'm going 3 hours without eating, there's something wrong. So like every 2 hours I'm eating something. Like if I can only have time for a PB&J, I've got a PB&J, but most of the time I'm trying to get real food in me. And then I think a big thing is, so you got every 2 hours you're getting food in you until whenever you go to bed. Like if you go to bed at 9, just your last one's at like 8 or something. Mm-hmm. Afternoon protein is big. Because your body's at like a deficit again for its protein intake. You spiked it after your workout, and then some time went by, you had a couple meals and it went like this a little bit, but your body's needing something more as well. So a big thing is liquid calories that you can couple with that afternoon protein. So if you make a shake that's high in calories and high in protein, that can kill two birds with one stone for your afternoon protein intake. So sometime in the afternoon, you need some more protein. You just do. Your body, especially as an athlete, is always in an anabolic state. So, or a catabolic state, sorry. Your body as an athlete is always in a catabolic state. So that means breaking down muscle tissue. That means breaking down fats. That means it's getting its nutrients from your body itself. And we want to make sure that it's not going to take, when we don't take in enough protein, your body takes it from your muscles because your muscles store protein. Right. So you want to make sure that you're getting enough consistently throughout the day that your body, even for a little bit, isn't taking anything from your itself to get that nutrients, Now, and then what's that?
What's your major?
Kinesiology.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you are passionate about this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm passionate about getting people huge. I want to be a strength coach once I'm done. So this stuff matters, But yeah, so last piece of the puzzle, in my opinion, after you have consistency of meals, lots of protein after your workout, normal amount of protein in the afternoon, and hydration throughout the day, big time with your minerals and everything like that, electrolytes. Last piece of the puzzle is protein before bed. People neglect that because you're about to fast for at least 8 hours, probably. Mm-hmm. Because you're not going to eat breakfast immediately when you wake up, and you're probably not going to have a meal right before you go to bed. So at least 8 hours, you're about to go without any sort of fuel or hydration. So it's important to spike that protein level before you go to bed. I'd say maybe a 42 gram. I take a 42 gram protein before I go to bed every day. And it's helped me not only with hunger through the night, but which that's a good sign for you're not having enough right before you go to bed of something. Mm-hmm. But it also helps your body, like we talked about, not catabolize, if you will, your own muscle tissue while you're sleeping. It's going to help you grow while you're sleeping, not get smaller. A lot of people wake up way lighter than they went to bed at. And that's going to happen. It's the way it works. But this will help also mitigate that because you won't lose that muscle mass that you probably could have gained while you're sleeping.
Right. Okay. So,
yeah.
Man, awesome. And that's, if anybody's watching this that wants to gain weight, that was the full breakdown of a whole day. I know I've done videos. I talked about how I did a 4,000 calorie diet.
Yeah.
And that worked for me. I mean, I only gained 8 pounds, but for me, that was a lot.
Yeah. How big are you?
Right now, I'm 193, and that's, I was probably 187.
Yeah.
And this was during summer workouts where we did a ridiculous amount of running.
For sure.
So, I did a 4,000 calorie diet, ended up getting to 193 by the end of the summer. So
cool. Yeah.
Okay.
For the bigger guys that might be watching this, like you can find, or I guess anybody, you can find like what you might need to hit for calories based on how you can put in like in different calculators online, how much you probably burn throughout the day based on your intensity of workouts and everything like that. So you can find the calories that you need. Like for me, I have to hit around 5,500 calories a day to be good, to just stay right there, because my metabolism's still going so fast. If I wanted to, I could drop down to probably 240 in a couple weeks.
Wow.
If I stopped football and eating so much and everything, you know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just varies so much.
That's really good information. So now that you have your scholarship,
mm-hmm.
do you have any specific goals this year? Any records you want to break, any a certain weight you want to get to, any type of goal?
Well, I feel really good at 265. So we'll see how the spring goes. I've been feeling really good at 265 right now, as far as speed, agility, blocking. It's so helpful to be bigger. But so we'll see if I want to go up to 270 or if I want to stay around here. We'll see. I'm not sure. It's a big tight end without a doubt. But it's helpful. Just don't want to overdo it and lose what got me here. That athleticism, different things. But as far as specific goals, nothing numbers wise as far as like starting, catches, touchdowns, pancakes, all of that. More so just continuing to cultivate that winning culture and having that big influence on my team, because that's the most important thing to me, is that the team and everyone in it would be so cohesive that we would turn this program around, because we haven't been very successful in the past. And I think it's a really cool thing when you're part of a rebuild, and a healthy rebuild, where everybody's really brotherly and everybody's really on the same page with what we're trying to accomplish here.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And lastly, I'll say this real quick. The spring game, U of I spring game, is on April 21st.
Yep.
So I know two people on the team right now, because I know Jaden, he's graduating.
Yeah.
I know you and Taylon now, so I might go out there and lose my voice if I go to the spring game.
You got to.
Yeah. So, but lastly, what last words would you give a walk-on if they're in their walk-on experience and they understand, they're seeing that, they're being used as just a body, but they have goals of getting to where you are. What's keeping them to know?
Yeah, that's a really good one, because I encountered that a lot, especially on scout team freshman year, and just shifting around on special teams a lot. And it's sometimes you get discouraged. It's easy to get discouraged, and especially when you feel like, I'm paying to just be a body, I'm paying my way to just be a body for right now. And I can't pay for much longer. I've been there. I got you. It's every situation is different. But my piece of advice would be, take the next best step. If the next best step is to stay and work your butt off again and again and again, take the next best step. Take the next best step. Like, okay, today I'm going to kill it here, and then tomorrow I'll see what happens. Okay, I need to kill it here again. You know what I mean? Like, wherever the Lord is calling you, your next best step is going to lead you there. So if that makes sense to the viewers,
that makes sense, man.
For me, it was like, man, if I don't earn a scholarship by at least my second season, if I go through my second season, I can't pay my way through here anymore, so I'm gonna have to transfer out or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, So I was nearing that point, and I was like, all right, if we get through this season, I got to go talk to the coach, because this might not work for much longer financially. So we got it. We got through it. But I would definitely advise the walk-ons watching that are in that position where they feel like they're just a body to really go get it, go meet with your coaches way more than you think you should. If they think about who's the most annoying but persistent and person who wants it the most on the team, you should immediately pop up in their mind. Like, you should be so committed that you're annoying a little bit, like there's no doubt in their mind that you want it more than anybody on that team. So that's something that I would advise. Just go get it. Like, leave nothing back. There's no reason to leave anything behind.
Awesome last words. And where can the viewers find you on social media?
I don't even know my handle for right now. Let me go look at my
Oh, yeah.
Instagram. It's Tip Reiman, TIPREIMAN on Instagram. I don't have a Twitter. Yeah, I don't think I have any other accounts to go find me on, but Instagram would be the one for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. They can't probably see that, but that's a
Yeah.
beast right there. Yeah, beast.
I appreciate that.
Oh, right there, man.